How many times have you heard these exact two phrases from prospective retailers, from retailers on your team? Have you even used these two phrases yourself? The inherent assumption in these two phrases is that being a LuLaRoe retailer and prioritizing your family are mutually exclusive activities. And I'd argue that they're actually completely symbiotic. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio. I went to the University of Virginia, where I studied systems engineering. UVA, wahoo wah. And there I met my husband, brought him back to Cincinnati with me, where he finished law school and started full-time as an attorney, and I started my dream job as a business analyst at Procter & Gamble, where I've now been for 11 years. Along the way, we've had three beautiful young girls that you see pictured here. We have twins who are 4 and a half, and our youngest just turned 2. And interestingly, our twins were actually born at 29 weeks, 11 weeks early, each weighing 2.5 pounds apiece. And they spent 3 months in the NICU. And while they're perfectly healthy today, and we're so grateful for that, anyone who's been through that NICU experience knows that it completely changes you. But it also gives you a gift, and it is one heck of a dose of perspective. So between the two of us, my husband and I have effectively 3 pretty demanding jobs, and I have no plans to leave Procter & Gamble. I actually love that work, and we know it's a key input to the ever-elusive balance equation for our family, but it gives me the ability to debunk one of the biggest myths in the system, and that there's not just enough time for LuLaRoe. And I didn't really have a phrase to describe how we keep all these balls in the air, so to speak, but it wasn't until Sheryl Sandberg, the Chief Operating Officer of Facebook, actually came to Procter & Gamble a couple of months ago, and she gave a talk about this concept of no misses in a business context. And she described these no misses as a thing that, the 2 to 3 things that a business must declare that they will strive for perfection in, and fully understand the rest of their other activities. While they can, aspire for greatness, they know that they do not have the capacity to be perfect in all of those things. And she told the story about how during one of her many speaking engagements, she found herself seated next to the CEO of one of the major airlines. And in the course of their conversation, she asked in jest, "Why does it seem that no matter where I end up, my bag never ends up in the right place and the food is always mediocre?" And the airline CEO, having heard this probably on more than one occasion, replied, "Well, in the airline industry, there are 2 no misses. 1, that your airplane stays in the air, and 2, that your pilot is not under the influence of drugs or alcohol or otherwise incapable of getting you from point A to point B." He said, as long as we get those 2 things right, we've done our job. Now, if your food isn't perfect and occasionally your bag ends up in the wrong place, he said, that's okay. See, the point is this. Companies fail when they try to be perfect at everything. We fail as spouses, we fail as parents, we fail as retailers. When we strive for perfection in everything, we are excellent at nothing. And that's not to say that the airline industry doesn't care about where your bag ends up, although it probably feels that way occasionally. Between you and me, I am perfectly fine if I continue to overinvest in keeping my airplane in the air. So, no misses. Have you defined those for your business and your personal life? And I'll tell you a little bit about what that looks like for us. I will caveat that this is by no means a recipe and will look extremely different for every single one of you, and quite honestly, it's very fluid for us as well. But today, I would say that my no misses for my business are communication, shipping speed, and hostess coaching. Those 3. So my hostesses know that I'm going to coach them like crazy and push them well outside of their comfort zones, but they came to me to earn 3 pieces, so you better believe that I'm going to give them the tools to be successful. My customers know that when they pay an invoice, their pieces will ship in under 24 hours, and if they come to me with a question or an issue, they're going to get a response in a few hours or less. But what is most important is what is not on that list. It may be blasphemous, but I don't have an active Instagram account. I I know that I do not have the capacity to manage another social media platform relative to the potential ROI for my business. I don't photograph on a mannequin, I don't do photo collages, I don't spend a ton of time on flat lays or outfits, and I don't do fancy packaging when I ship my pieces. And that's not to say if these are passion areas of yours and they drive your business that you shouldn't do them, but they're just not a no-miss for us. Similarly, what that looks like in my personal life is I'm the one that gets my girls up out of bed in the morning, and I'm there at bedtime. We do the best we can on the in-between, but it's not perfect, and that's okay. And my husband and I try our darndest to get a good solid date night in once or twice a week. But not on that list. Organic home-cooked meals, Pinterest-worthy birthdays, and I guarantee you no one's getting to the gym 5 days a week in our house. And you know what? I know plenty of people have judged me for my choices. Heck, I've had a few overtly to my face tell me that they don't agree with my choices, but that's okay, because we are firmly grounded in those no-miss decisions for our family. I know when I send my girls off to preschool every day that they are loved on and invested in by people who have a skill set and a level of patience that I simply do not possess. I know that I'm a better mom in the short amount of time that I get with my girls at the end of the day than I ever would be if I had the entire day with them. But I also know that if I allow anyone outside these walls to define how I should feel about those choices or influence those decisions for my family, that my life will never be an exceptional one. Do I get this right all the time? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Heck, I had my absolute worst hosted party just 2 weeks ago. And in the world of the new compensation plan, and after having a few leaders choose to leave our team, hitting coach every month is no longer a given, never mind mentor. And then for someone as results-oriented as I am, that's really, really hard. And I have weeks where it feels like my hostesses are dropping like flies and there is nothing I can say or do to keep my team together. And the voice of fear and doubt in the back of my mind tells me that this is a reflection of me and that I don't deserve to be here. And in the toughest weeks, I've gone so far as to start saving boxes in my basement, just in case. I think we don't be lying if we haven't felt that way at some point or another. But then I had my absolute best hosted party just 6 weeks ago. They'll have a retailer on my team announce that she is leaving a job that she hates because of LuLaRoe. I'll have a customer walk out of my dressing room nearly in tears because she feels beautiful for the first time as long as she can remember. The same way that I felt when I put on this Nicole, the first piece of LuLaRoe that I ever purchased 2 years ago, just as I was going through the depths of postpartum depression. Perspective. I choose Procter & Gamble and LuLaRoe every single day. I often need to recommit to those decisions, and goodness, there are some days where it's a lot easier to do that than others, but because we are grounded and uncompromising in our no-miss decisions, we have given ourselves the freedom to make that choice day in and day out. So you're going to leave here having heard from some of the most inspiring and innovative retailers that LuLaRoe has to offer. You're going to have a head full of ideas, and you're going to want to go home and implement everything. And my challenge to you is this. Be incredibly choiceful about where you do add. But before you add anything, I need you to establish those no-misses. This is my call to action for all of you. Define your no-misses for your business and for your personal life. And in a world of fixed time and resources, you only get 2 to 3. And then I need you to reduce or outright eliminate all of that activity, all of the other activity. And trust me, this is going to be painful and scary, and you will doubt yourself along the way. But you know what happens when you do this? You will find that the seemingly deafening cacophony of chatter and external opinions and lists of what you should or shouldn't be doing and Facebook common threads, they stop. They don't matter anymore. When all of your choices flow from your no-misses and are aligned to your strengths and your passion areas, you run the show. You own the outcome. Establish your no-misses. It is so simple in concept, but it can yield fruit and give you freedom unlike anything you have ever imagined. It has been a joy to spend this time